Welcome to the tutorial video helping you successfully complete virtual labs. The lab we'll look at for now is the Operations with Fractions virtual lab found in the online Pre-Algebra Online Module 3. And the objective of this lab is to use the virtual fraction maker to investigate ordering and equivalating fraction values. Equivalating means to make the fractions equivalent or to make them equal. The link in question today introduces us to something called PhET simulations. PhET is an acronym for Physics Education Technology. It's based out of the University of Colorado in Boulder. Underneath the link, you'll see a short sentence introducing introductory video and support information, which is available to you. When completing this lab, please do not forget to complete the pre-lab questions. And let me now turn your attention to the procedure and calculations. For this particular lab, the procedures and calculations are linked in one section, whereas in previous labs, the procedures was in one section and calculations were in another. You're asked to click on the link above, choose the Intro tab, and then we have this scenario for number 2. We have two people, Mrs. Hickson and Mr. Huey, each have apple pies that are the same size. Miss Hickson eats 3/8 of her apple pie, and Mr. Huey eats 4/7 of his. We want to build Miss Hickson's and Mr. Huey's pies in the simulation and sketch them below. So you can actually physically draw the fraction 3/8 and 4/7, or you can cut and paste, copy paste the picture from the simulation. So let me take you to the simulation page. So I click on the link, and this is what the opening page will look like for you, or should look like. And before we click the play button in the middle, let me just talk about here on the side. We have some different options, and this one option I want to focus on is the download button. If you're having connectivity issues, or you find yourself in a situation where you want to work on this lab but you don't have access to the internet, you can actually download this and work on this lab on your device, and then you can upload the information and save the pictures that you need for a later date when you do have connectivity. Down here under Teaching Resources, scroll down to, let me go a little bit further. There we go. This is the introduction to the home page you're going to see. Just kind of talk you through the different menus. When I click on play, you'll see this menu across the top. That views the different fraction representations. In the middle, we have the manipulate the fractions. So you'll have different number of containers, and you can build your fractions. This, what looks like a tray here, is where you're going to drag your fraction pieces out of to build your fraction. On the upper right side, you have the button that adjusts the number of containers. And then you have a fraction that you're building here, and by clicking the up and down arrows, you can increase or decrease the numerator and denominator of the fraction that you have. So why don't we click on the play feature and let's get started. So when I click play, since I'm using the internet, it's going to download or load. And as instructed in the lab, we're going to click on the Intro tab. So that's this one. And here we have what you'll see when you first click on. You can change the shape of your container here. So right now the default is a circle. I can have a sideways rectangle, a vertical rectangle, a cylinder, or a cake. To me it looks like a cake. And you even have the option of having a number line. Since pies are round, I'm going to be kind of generic and just pick the round circle. We can also change the number of containers or circles. So if I want to have 2 or 3, I can do that. For now, we'll just keep it at 1. And the fraction we were building was 3/8. So I'm going to click on this arrow right next to the denominator and move it up to 8. And you'll notice as I click, the number of sections in the pie increase to 8. Now, as far as building the numerator, the fraction part, there's 2 ways I can do it. One is I can actually build the fraction by moving the wedges up into the pie. A second option I have is I can click the arrows. And by clicking the arrow, I can increase the number of shaded portions the pie's wedges will automatically move up. And as always, this is your reset button down here on the lower right. You click reset and everything goes back to the way it was. So what you will do is you will create two different pictures, one for Miss Hickson, who had 3/8 of her pie, and Mr. Huey, who ate 4/7. You will take a screenshot and paste that right here, or you can physically draw it in. So you will do that. Don't forget to answer questions 3 and 4. Let's take a moment and discuss question 5, where you want to build the following fractions and sketch them in the table below. So the fractions we have are 2/5, 1/6, 2/7, and 1/4. So going back to our simulation, since it was a fraction bar, I'm going to click on the second option, and we're going to build, I think it was 1/5 or 2/5. So I increased the denominator to 5, and again I can move these pieces up so I get to the desired fraction. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, we're supposed to build 4 fractions. Why don't we have 4 containers? And here's the issue you're going to have with that. The number of divisions are going to be the same for all 4. So if you are going to have a different denominator, like if I change the denominator to 6, that's the same for all of them. So we can't build different simulations using different denominators on this intro page. You go hit the reset button down here in the lower right. So again, you will build the desired fractions, 2/5, 1/6, 2/7, and 1/4. You can either draw them in if you're submitting a paper copy, or you can do it virtually. Remember, number 6, you want to put the previous fractions in order from least to greatest. So you're going to take these fractions and fill them in here from least to greatest. And you'll continue through the entire lab repeating that process, building pies and fractions and comparing them in different ways. So this is what the lab's going to look like all the way through. One last thing I want to mention is that you can explore the game feature on the bottom or the lab feature on your own. If that's something you want to explore, you may find some of that helpful as well. So that's your tutorial on how to successfully complete the virtual lab for Pre-Algebra Module 3. I'll talk to you next time in our next introductory video.